All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into DIY credit repair.
Okay.
Hopefully by the end of this, you'll feel like confident enough to maybe even save some money by taking control over your own credit.
Right.
We're going to be looking at a YouTube video by credit repair expert Marvin Francois.
Okay.
He's got this 4-step process that seems pretty promising.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can break it down in a way that's easy to understand and, useful for everyone.
Sounds good.
So he jumps right into it with step 1, and it's called freezing secondary credit bureaus.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you already know about, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax.
Right. The big three.
Right. But have you ever heard of these secondary credit bureaus?
Maybe not. Most people haven't really.
Yeah.
They're not as well known.
Yeah, so we're talking about companies like LexisNexis, ARS Innovis, and CoreLogic.
Yeah. Those are the ones that kind of fly under the radar.
Right. They're still collecting and reporting credit data.
Exactly.
But they're just not as,
Out in the open.
Yeah. So why should we even care about them?
Well, it's kind of sneaky, actually. They can make it harder to dispute negative items on your credit report.
Really?
Yeah. So think about it like this. You file a dispute with Experian, right?
Okay.
And they might turn to like LexisNexis as a backup to verify that negative item.
Oh, so it's like a backup system for them.
Exactly.
Oh,
and if LexisNexis confirms it, then your dispute's probably not going to go through.
Ugh. So it almost feels like it makes it impossible to get things removed.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Francois' strategy is to freeze your credit with these secondary bureaus before you even start disputing anything.
Oh.
With the main three, that way, if Experian or TransUnion can't verify it, they have to legally remove it from your report.
Okay, that's interesting. So I can see how that would give you a lot more leverage.
Yeah.
So on to step 2, he says, to remove excess personal identifiers.
Okay.
What does that even mean?
So it sounds really complicated, but it's actually pretty simple.
Okay.
He's basically talking about removing any extra names, addresses, or even old employer information that's not absolutely necessary on your report.
Okay.
So, for example, if you've moved a lot, those old addresses could still be linked to, like, negative information, even if it's from years ago.
Ah, okay.
So cleaning all that up can make it harder for the credit bureaus to connect the dots.
And harder to verify those negative items when I go to dispute them.
Exactly. It just strengthens your position overall.
Okay, cool. And so to do that, he actually gives specific phone numbers for Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax.
He does, yeah.
So you can call them directly and start removing this information.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, he makes it sound really straightforward.
He does, but he did say that Equifax is the most difficult one to work with.
Ugh. Equifax figures.
Yeah, but the key is just to be persistent and organized, Keep really good records of your communication with them, and don't be afraid to follow up multiple times.
Got it. So persistence is key.
Yeah.
All right, so we've frozen the secondary bureaus.
Yeah.
And we've cleaned up our personal identifiers. What's next?
So now it's time to take action. This is where we get to use what Francois calls the 609 letter.
Okay, the 609 letter, that sounds kind of serious.
Yeah, this is where we get to go on the offensive a little bit.
Okay, I like it. So tell me, what is the 609 letter and what makes it so powerful?
So it's named after Section 609 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And basically, it lets you demand that the credit bureaus actually, prove the accuracy of any information on your report.
Okay, so it's more than just a regular dispute.
Yeah.
Like I have the law on my side kind of thing?
Exactly. You're invoking the law to back up your claims.
Wow, okay.
And if they can't prove it, they have to legally remove it.
That's amazing. Okay, so I just send in this letter and poof, they remove everything.
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
It's a little more strategic than that. Francois recommends only disputing 10 items or less per letter.
Oh, okay, why is that?
So if you send them this massive list of things to dispute, they can actually flag you as a frivolous disputer.
Frivolous disputer. I've heard that term before, but what does that mean?
It basically means you're disputing too many things.
Yeah.
And the credit bureaus might not take you as seriously.
All right.
So they're less likely to investigate your claims thoroughly, and it could even hurt your chances of getting legitimate errors removed.
Oh, wow.
So it's best to be more strategic and focus on the most important things.
So pick your battles.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. So it's more of a long game than just a quick fix.
Right. And that's really Francois' whole philosophy with credit repair.
Yeah.
It's not about these quick fixes. It's about actually building a good foundation for your credit health.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I've sent my 609 letter.
Yeah.
Hopefully got a few things removed. What's next?
Well, the last step might not be what you want to hear. It's persistence.
Okay, what do you mean?
So credit repair, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You're not going to see all your negative items disappear overnight.
Right.
It takes time and effort. Francois recommends sending a new round of dispute letters every 30 to 45 days.
Wow, okay.
You just got to keep at it consistently.
So he's seen some pretty tough cases then.
Oh, yeah. He's had clients that saw results right away.
Okay.
And others who had to go through several rounds of disputes before they saw any progress. He even said that credit reports are like fingerprints.
Oh, interesting.
You know, they're all unique and require a unique approach.
So there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Not really, but if you're consistent and you put in the effort, you'll see those results.
And that's really empowering to know that you can do this yourself.
Right. You don't necessarily need to pay for some expensive credit repair service.
Yeah, that's a really good point because there's so much information and misinformation out there about credit repair. It's overwhelming.
It is.
And confusing.
Yeah.
But Francois' approach is about understanding your rights, using the law to your advantage, and just being persistent.
I agree. It's about taking control of your own credit journey.
And even if you've made mistakes in the past, it's never too late to start making those positive changes. So speaking of positive changes, I remember Francois mentioned an ebook in his video.
He did, yeah.
What is that all about?
So it's called The Credit Mastermind.
Correct.
And it's basically like a more in-depth guide to all this stuff. He goes into more detail about the 609 letter.
Mm-hmm.
He offers some templates.
Nice.
And explores even more advanced credit building strategies.
So it's more than just fixing bad credit. It's like building good credit as well.
Yeah, he even talks about getting high-limit credit cards and building a business using credit.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, so it's like taking your credit to the next level.
Exactly.
Awesome. It sounds like a really great resource for anyone who wants to dive in, even deeper.
Yeah.
But even just knowing these 4 steps, like the freezing the secondary bureaus and cleaning up your personal identifiers, and then using that 609 letter.
Right.
And then just being persistent. That's a pretty solid foundation.
Absolutely. And it's about taking action, and not just feeling overwhelmed by it all.
All right. So speaking of taking action,
yeah,
I want to pose this question to you, our listener.
Okay.
If you were to start your credit repair journey, like today, what would be your first step?
That's a great question. Would you go straight to those secondary credit bureaus?
Right.
Or maybe pull your credit reports from all 3 bureaus?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because everyone's situation is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So that first step might be different for everyone too.
Right.
Like for some people, maybe it's just tackling that feeling of fear or shame, that can sometimes surround credit problems.
Yeah, even just acknowledging that you want to make a change is a huge step.
Right. And, even if you're not ready to dispute items or send letters or anything like that, just starting to track your spending and payment habits, that can make a big difference too.
Absolutely. Those small changes made consistently can lead to some big results.
And that's what Francois really emphasized, that consistency is key.
Right.
There's no quick fix or magic solution.
Exactly. It's about taking that proactive approach and being patient and persistent.
Well, I think on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into DIY credit repair.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Hopefully you found it insightful and, maybe even a little bit empowering.
Yeah, it's all about taking control.
So remember those 4 key steps we talked about. And if you want to learn more, definitely go check out Francois' ebook, The Credit Mastermind.
It's worth a read.
Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and keep diving deep.